Okay, I want to introduce you to a young woman here, Morgan Law. Morgan Law, yeah, it sounds like a big company down here in Florida, but it's not. Her name is Morgan Law. Her company is actually Fine Points, and what she does is teaches people how to be a QuickBooks bookkeeper. And say, Bob, what does that have to do with me? I'm a plumber, I'm a heating and air guy, home renovations. Well, that's why I'm doing this video, because I figured you would never find it on your own. Her website is finepoints.biz, and like I said, the people she caters to are people who want to become bookkeepers. But she does these excellent videos on how to do bookkeeping that I think would benefit you. So we're going to play this, and then I'll start commenting on it and tell you the finer points of why I'm doing this. So let's just get started.
Hey guys, today we're going to talk about invoicing in QuickBooks Online. So not every business is going to want to invoice their customers. Like if you run like a corner store, like a store, and you have like a cash register as a point of sale and you're getting a bunch of customers, you don't really need to invoice them because they'll pay right away. But if you have the type of business where you probably have fewer clients and you send them invoices and maybe give them like a week or two to pay, then putting them in QuickBooks Online is a really great way to do it because it kind of keeps everything in place. You're able to track who has paid, how much they have paid, like what is the outstanding amount, like balance that they owe, and then you can receive the payments right in there and it'll match up in the bank feeds. So for most of this video,
so let me stop it right here. You may have discovered some free invoicing tools. In fact, I used one myself. I am not a QuickBooks subscriber, but I only do a small handful of invoices one day of each month. And I have clients that already use QuickBooks, and then they go out and buy another overarching program that they think is going to help them get organized. I think they call them ESAs or something like that. And it's kind of like a contact management system, invoicing system, bookkeeping system, marketing system, all in one. And as cool as that stuff sounds, if you're less than 25 to 50 people, I just don't understand why you're thinking these are things that are important. The bottom line is you need to have a way to keep up with your clients and then do your bookkeeping right. Now, there's other aspects of business, obviously, like advertising and marketing, but I'm not covering that in this video. We're talking about the phone rings. Who is this person on the other end? Have you done business with them in the past? And being able to invoice them correctly. Schedule the job is another video that we will do. I don't understand why you think you need something outside of the free tools that come with Google for that as well, but we'll do another video on that one.
This video, we will be inside QuickBooks Online and I'll be showing you exactly what I do in there with invoices. Here is the list of what we're going to go over, and I can give just kind of like a brief intro before each thing that I explain in there. So the first thing I'm going to show you is just really simply where to go to create an invoice. Okay.
This guy is Bob Rutledge, Google certified ads manager and digital marketing veteran since the mid-90s. He can help your home services business get more calls, boost efficiency, and save money. Subscribe and hit the notification button for valuable business insights.
We're going to start by opening a new invoice and filling it out. So you can just go to sales and then invoices. There's usually in QuickBooks multiple ways to get places, but that's how we're going to do it today, and then create an invoice.
So now let me address the topic right off the bat. One of the things no one likes is dual entry. So the phone rings, you start taking this customer's information in a CRM, customer relationship management software, and then you got to copy it over to QuickBooks. Well, let me tell you, that doesn't have to happen that way either. Let me see if I can drag this. One of the things that I do for my clients, I don't know if that's showing up on there or not. All right, I'm going to interrupt the video we were just looking at just then by Miss Law and show you something about how you integrate QuickBooks with other programs. In this particular case, I was talking about using Google Contacts. So I put my contact information, the phone rings, I put their contact information into Google Contacts, which is a CRM by any measurement. It comes with your phone automatically, free, and it works with your Gmail accounts. And but if I put the information into their name, address, and phone number, I don't want to then have to turn around and do dual entry and put it in over at QuickBooks. So through Zapier, let me kind of show you what their main website looks like here. I'll go to the home page. Automate as fast as you can type. Automations are basically you do one thing and it triggers others. In this particular case, you put the name, address, and phone number into into Google Contacts, and it automatically, or certainly within a second or two, moves that information over into QuickBooks as well. I hope that makes sense. Here's the illustration of it. You put this in, and after even the cheapest accounts, after about 1 or 2 minutes, will then trigger and put that information over into QuickBooks Online. Hope that helps. All right, now back to the other show. When you input your customer's information using Zapier, it will automatically move it over into your QuickBooks, right? But it will not fill out every category and thing that she's going to talk about here. It won't fill out their you may have already gotten their address. It'll move that over there, their phone number, their email. But there are other ways that you may be wanting to keep up with your clients. And what will have to happen is you go ahead and finish up doing the invoice and then go back to the client in the contacts portion of QuickBooks and fill in the other tags that she goes on to talk about in this video. I'm going to forward it now to the next section.
And the link will be in the description box. The next thing we're going to be doing is setting up an item or a product and service. So this is like what you sell. And
so this is what you sell. With any of these software products that are going to help make your life easier, you've got to set up your book, your business book, the services and what you sell. If you sell parts and pieces like an air conditioning contractor, you're going to have labor, you're going to have the items like the air conditioner itself if you're replacing the whole air conditioner, or you're going to have in there for a compressor, what model of compressor and how many hours it takes to install it, things like that. So you've got to set up your book of services no matter what product you use. Again, I'm stressing here that if you've already got QuickBooks, which really ought to be where you start, you need to set up your book of services and products that you sell no matter what no matter what software you're using. I hope that makes sense.
And truthfully, I think this is like technically like the most complicated part of an invoice because you want to make sure that you kind of get this right and you get things flowing into the right income category. And there are a few distinctions between products and services that I'll go over, as well as how to get the right pricing, the right number in there. If you're charging per quantity for goods or if you're charging per hour for services, there's different ways to do that. So let's take a look at some of the product and services we already have in here just so you can get kind of an idea of what they are. So for landscape, they have some design stuff. Then they also have things like concrete and lighting and rocks. So they have actual item.
Homework that you have to do right here, it can't be skipped. And no matter how much you pay someone else for their software, you're still going to have to sit down and do this step right here. So I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next section now because, again, this is a video you should watch, how to create an invoice and receive payments. Again, because it's not aimed directly at you, the HVAC guy or the plumber, doesn't mean this isn't something you have to know. I'm going to skip to the next chapter.
products and services filled up, you can just go about filling out the rest of the invoice. Definitely think about that customization option too, which I will go over. Okay, so now you know how to set up the customer, you know how to put in these products and services, and then you just want to make sure and look at the rest of the invoice and make sure it looks good. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can do an address if you want. Like I said, this is how long they have to pay it. Let's say they have to pay it in 10 days. I think that's a little better. A lot of times also we just do upon receipt, which is nice. I don't use tags a lot, but if you use tags, you can put that right there. And then you can also customize this. So you can say, something different here. You can also hit this customize.
So I use a very similar product through QuickBooks, through PayPal. They're all essentially the same. This one, though, is easier to move the data of your clients over into it without having to do double entry. But once you set up your book of work, you're not going to have to input that information anymore. You may have to add to it, but you won't have to update it. And then in other videos that we're going to discuss at some point, not only will I go over again, I just need the bare basics for my business. And so I use PayPal, and I use it to run the credit cards, but I use it, and that's where they make their money. But they have an invoicing system that I've been using for 2 years. I was a QuickBooks client, but it was just too powerful for me. And I went to PayPal's free invoicing, and it's only gotten better. But I'll do a different video on that. Most of y'all really do need to stick with this, especially as you get bigger. You want to get into job costing, and I'm thinking for $90, QuickBooks will do even job costing. Now, you'll have to hire a person to put all that data in, because it's only going to be it's not like it's going to run itself. But up until the point you start growing to be that big, QuickBooks, I just can't imagine you outgrowing it at any point, really.
But if you have a large client with a lot of invoices, a lot of outstanding things, a lot of different services that they're providing, this can get a little bit complicated in receiving that payment, especially if people aren't paying like on time, or if they're not paying like the exact amount of the invoice. So you do want to get in a good habit of receiving payments as quickly as possible, as soon as you know that something was paid, and just keep up on this regularly and try to be as organized as possible.
Yeah, and that's the key to it. As a sole proprietor, you're going to find that incredibly difficult to do. You're literally going to have to, on your schedule, say, on this date and at this time, I'm going to do that every day, or every second day or third day. Because if you don't, it'll get out of hand. You'll forget where the money came from. And then you'll wind up having a problem with, she goes on here to talk about, I don't know quite the word for it.
This receipt here. Let's talk about undeposited funds for a second.
Yeah, that's what it'll start showing up in QuickBooks as undeposited funds. And that's just where you allocate to the invoice where the big deposit went to that you put in the bank. Again, I'm going to let her explain this better later on in the video. I mean, you watch the video to watch her explain. There's no need me just playing it for you. But I think that when you watch this several times, this video, more than any I've ever come across, will give you a firm foundation to stand on. You'll start picking up the jargon about accounting without having to be an accountant or a bookkeeper. You'll understand the basic workflow of how to handle your client from the moment the phone rings to you close out the invoice. And, that's all part of being a painter. That's all part of being an HVAC guy if you want to work on your own. It's not just going out there and repiping the house. You've then got to account for it if you're going to own your own plumbing business. Anyway, I hope that helps.